Welcome back. I'm Brent Meredith. Last week we chatted with Tennessee Equality Project Executive Director Chris Sanders about the ongoing battle of marriage equality post the SCOTUS ruling. Chris is back with me tonight to finish our two-part interview. Thanks for making the time for us again, Chris. Good
Glad
to see you.
Do it. Thank you.
And so last week we dug into the Tennessee Natural Marriage Defense Act. That's a mouthful. If folks missed that interview, they can catch it on News Channel 5's website and our Facebook page. But I thought we'd continue our chat tonight with maybe a little bit more positive slant. The recent Metro Nashville elections. So we had lots of historical firsts. First female mayor, first out lesbian councilwoman, lots of diversity on the council. What are some other encouraging results from this election, or if you wanted to expand on any of those other firsts?
One aspect is that the far right attacked Mayor-elect Berry, or now Mayor Berry, on so-called social issues, and in particular support of bills such as the Contractor Non-Discrimination Ordinance. They made an issue of it. They failed, and they failed by a big margin. So in my mind, that confirms the value of the 8 years and the fact that Nashvillians are behind what happened.
Cool. Now, we heard a lot of supportive statements during the campaign from really all of the candidates, even at the LGBT debate. How was that different than, say, in previous elections, and why?
Well, you know, there were a few candidates 8 years ago who were supportive, but not all of them, and not universally so. And it's a different world. People realize there are victories now, and that not only a national decision has come, but there have been 8 years of support from Metro government. And I hope that anybody who runs for office in Davidson County sees that, and that it's solidified and it's here to stay.
I feel like it is. I hope that I'm confident that it is. So now Carl Dean was supportive to our community, as you just mentioned, and served during a period of the immense change that we talked about. How do you see Megan's administration continuing those efforts, and will it be a somewhat easier road, if I can use that word, for her to be a sort of a more progressive mayor?
I think it should be. Mayor Dean was the first executive in the state really publicly to help us on policy issues, and those were local and state policy issues. He didn't draw a lot of attention to himself in doing it, but he was very clearly supportive. His administration lobbied state and the council on our behalf. So I think what you'll see is Megan continuing that. I think she's very comfortable with it, has been for years, so it'll be a natural piece among many of her administration. It may not even be noticeable anymore because there's been so much change, but we should never forget the huge role she played as a council member in making all of that possible.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm glad you mentioned that because she was very active in our community. We saw her a lot, and we saw her a lot during the campaign, so we know that she was doing it for a long time. Do you think we'll continue to see her as involved with our community?
I do. She obviously has a lot on her plate. I mean, there are transit issues, there are all kinds of issues with infrastructure, education that she's got to tackle, reworking the configuration of the mayor's office. She's already done that by appointing a COO instead of a deputy mayor, and really looking at what functions are going to be key. So she's got a lot to do. I don't think we'll be forgotten by any means, but let her get some things done, and then you know, we can start talking about what the local government agenda is here.
Well, and at the end of the day, all of those issues are our issues as well.
So I mean,
she's So now we're hoping to have Nancy Van Rees with us next month. We asked her for this month. She was obviously really busy getting ready and her new role. But I'll go ahead and ask you tonight: how important is it to have her now as an openly elected lesbian councilwoman?
Well, the reason I'm so excited about that is because it shows the diversity of our community. You know, to outsiders, I suppose the face of our community is a white gay male, and there's nothing wrong with them. I'm very fond of white gay men. But
you happen to be one.
I happen to be one, but you know, it's good to show a variety of faces, and Nancy's worked very hard for years in that district. She's worked very hard in our community too, and I'm excited anytime we get an elected official from our community who actually knows our issues from the inside and has worked on them. And so I think Nancy's great. I'm one of her biggest fans, and I'm excited to see what she'll do for that neighborhood that she loves so well in that district, but also with our community.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. She actually has been, she was a contributor for Out and About newspaper way back when I was the editor. She wrote for years. She has been involved and had her finger on the pulse of the community, not just recently, but for many, many years. She's really built up to this position.
That's right.
So now what do we need to keep our eyes on as we're in October now? I can't believe we're at the end of 2015, rolling into 16. What do we need to keep our eyes on sort of on a local level, maybe a state level, maybe a national level? There's a whole host of things coming down the pipe for 2016.
you know, I think what we need to prepare for in Metro is seeing if there are opportunities now before Metro heads into its next budget cycle next year, as it prepares, as the new mayor and the new council prepare their first budget. Do we want to look at youth housing initiatives, inclusive youth housing initiatives? I'd love to see us prepare for that. I don't know whether we've got the time and whether that's going to be a top priority, but I'd like to see us make the case for it. At the state level, the legislature convenes in January. We need to have a steady drumbeat leading up to that to beat this bill. At the federal level, you know, there's all this talk about what's next, this comprehensive civil rights bill. Going to be a tough sell in this Congress, but we should continue to advocate. What I would love to see our community do, there are two co-sponsors of that bill from Tennessee, Congressman Cooper and Congressman Cohen. I would love to see us identify one Republican co-sponsor and really work to get one Republican congressional member from Tennessee to support it. That'll be an uphill climb, but I think we ought to do it.
Now, Pam and I were talking just the other day. We were reminiscing about things, and we were wondering, are we going to get a chance to vote for you anytime soon? Are we going to see your name on the ballot?
I am not going to run anytime soon, I don't think. I'm not going to run for legislature. I'm happy with my representation at just about every level of government, and I can't afford to run for U.S. Senate. I can't start a super PAC or anything like that. So, but thank you. I appreciate you asking about that.
Well, we're happy to see you in your role, and we're just about out of time, so that's all the time we have for tonight. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.